Good day, whatever time of the day it is for you. Welcome to Talks on Tuesday, where we meet every week on Tuesday at 11 o'clock Pacific time to talk about metaphysical, paranormal, esoteric subjects and have a good time with our friends. Um, I'm going to ask you if you have a question or if you want to contribute to either raise your hand physically or use the raise hand button down below. It's under the reaction icon, I think. And that way everybody will have a chance to talk if they want to. And today I am going to switch into professorial mode again. I know you'll be thrilled about that, but I'm going to be talking about a course I'm taking online with Asil Toksil, Toksil. Are you guys aware of him? Okay. He is a guy of Turkish extraction, born in Austria. His parents were immigrants from Turkey to Austria. He became an engineer, and is pretty brilliant, apparently. He started several companies, made a lot of money, and kept opening new companies, hoping that he would find some fulfillment in this. And he talks about a time when he was giving a party, a celebration of a new corporation. Everybody was there. And he said, I felt so empty. I didn't know what to do next. And it prompted him to go on a deep spiritual dive. He went to India and worked with gurus. He went to South America and did ayahuasca. He worked with all kinds of shamans and metaphysically advanced people, and went into deep, deep meditations for hours a day and began to channel entities who at first identified themselves by names associated with angels, like Emmanuel, Raphael. And then this entity group came through who said, we are Elohim. And in the Old Testament, the Elohim are kind of like a collective of, I think they refer to them as gods, like in the Bible, but they're probably, all these entities, we're entities, are just spiritually advanced. And it's as if they are on a rescue mission to Earth, trying to raise the consciousness of this planet while there is still time. This group, Evolution One, that Asil founded, wait for Cecilia to get on for a minute. There she is. This group that Asil founded is a nonprofit, and they charge relatively little. I'm looking at a Sedona conference. It's a 2-day conference on creativity, and they have a sliding scale for people who want to attend. I think it's from $88 for the 2 days up to $244, depending on what you can afford. So Asil, I think you know about Asil Toksil, don't you, Cecilia? Evolution One.
Oh, I'm sorry. I just stepped in. I didn't hear what you said.
You're familiar with Asil Toksil from Evolution One?
Mhm.
Yeah, he's a channeler. But what these entities want to do is to help us here remove our obstacles to the love of creation. A lot of what we have here results in destruction, fear, hate, greed, and helping us to recover who we are at our course. And the the adjustments these channeled entities do are meant to remove blocks in us that are karmic or genetic or personal history, trauma we've had in this life, so that we can receive energy without blocks to the flow. And there's a huge awakening happening on the planet. And I feel like we're so fortunate to have so many sources of goodness coming through, like this guy Asil, like Eric Pearl and the Reconnection, Abraham Hicks, all of these people, entities coming through right now. I feel like they're just on a rescue mission here um, to help us out. And that's where I'm right now. I'm doing this course called Foundations, which involves 4 meditations a day and a Zoom every day. And I've felt myself grow energetically in amazing ways. I was telling the girls earlier that my etheric body feels like it fills the whole room. It's a new way of being. So, Anka, you have a question?
I want to say that even I don't know, it's a coincidence, but I'm in Vienna, in Austria right now, and I'm in a um, marginal place, I think I could say, and I feel the energy very low here, and at the park of distraction at in the center, I feel something higher, and I don't know why, because it's it's normal to me what is here is not, there are not bad things, but I feel different.
Yeah, well, one of the things a SEAL does is he goes to various places around the globe, like Auschwitz, Palestine, places in the Middle East where there have been massacres, and works with the entities to clear that space so
I
that the
try to
entities can.
do the same here, and I went to Orthodox Church and Catholic Church, and I try to raise the level of the energy, and I don't know if I did it well, but I tried.
It can't hurt. Yeah, and I think the combination of our efforts have got to be great. They've got to be good. Jules, did you have something? Oh, you probably were swatting something away. Yeah.
Uh, Barbara said something about prophets, but I don't know why, because I don't was so attentive. But the prophets are the people that know the future. No,
Like psychics?
I don't know. Not like science. I like the science, the prophets, science of the back of the history, in back of the history.
Hmm. I'm not sure what you mean.
I don't know. She writed something in the chat when you were talking about that people.
See.
Can I jump in before Gino?
go
I
right
know you
ahead.
have your hand up, Gino, but
Sure.
I'll just jump in. It's quiet here now, so I can speak. I just wanted to answer Anka's question. You were talking earlier, Mary, about something about the gods. They were saying that they were the gods. And I think the word Elohim, which I was thinking, isn't that a prophet? But then I realized that that's actually not. I was thinking of like Elijah or one of those other guys. So I think Elohim does mean God in Hebrew, I think. So
Yeah.
that's why
Uh,
I mentioned that Anka.
Yeah, I think that's just an element of language. They're not really perceiving themselves as gods, but it's just a familiar word. Yeah, Gino.
I I have a question. If we can see the future, we can in nowadays we can uh, name us like to be a prophet or something like this.
That's a word we could use. I don't think anybody really sees the future. I think they see possible tendencies that current behavior may bring about, or current conditions. And some of them may be more intuitive than others, or they may have visions, but in
Yes, dreams.
dreams and
Yes.
visions. Yeah. Yeah. Gino?
Yeah, Mary, I want to applaud your interest in this gentleman and taking the courses and everything. I wrote down the information and I'm going to check it out later. Uh, but it's sort of in the vein of, yeah, we looks at this point, we don't have an awful lot of time on planet Earth for humans to get themselves together. And I think it would be great if we all open up as much as possible to all kinds of people and trainings. And if something speaks to you to go, go and see what it's about. Um, I I love the things that I know now, and I want to keep learning. I've been this way all my life, and I think it's helped me develop into what I think is a reasonably good human being as far as contribution on the planet, and also, kindness to people and love and all that. I'm not that way all the time, but it's something I always come back to. I'm aware that it's there and that I must do it. And I also think that there a lot of these groups, we can just kind of shake it off when we're involved in them, if they often will tout themselves as the best approach, the very best thing. So other things are fine, but we're the best. And that always really turns me off. And there may be evidence to me that speaks to me that I might think that they're the best. But then when I start exploring more, I think, well, that one place that says that they're the best, there is really great stuff there. But then this other group has this stuff that is also quite valuable. I when I began with reconnective healing, I also started again, I should say, after many years, I started taking Joe Dispenza courses, and I took everything that he had. I took all of his courses online. I read all of his books. Watched a whole bunch of his videos and everything. And there was, great value there. And apparently I don't think I implemented it well enough. So, a year went by and I really wasn't involved in it anymore. And then last weekend, it came to me again. And now I have taken both of his intensive and progressive courses. And again, I'm learning a lot. He has a fantastic approach. And it's just a different way. It's more methodical. It's more like being mindful and all of that. There's work involved. Um, Now, if you can do a way to just be all the time, and not have to do all that work. Well, that's not always possible for all of us. Sometimes we have to learn more to be in that space of be, or the I am and all that great stuff. Now, I know about all that stuff, yet sometimes I still had difficulty being in the be or the I am. And so I thought, well, Joe's stuff is really helping me. But I'm grateful for what you also shared with us here. And you say that there's a course in Sedona. I love the price. It's
Yeah.
great. And it's about creativity, which excites me.
Yeah.
So
Conscious.
I'm going to look into that.
Thank you. Yeah. It's like being in school. We've got lots of teachers,
Yeah.
and some years we have a favorite teacher, and they are our favorite for several years, and then we meet someone else and they're also good. They have something different, a different slant, and it's kind of about where we are in life and what our learning style is.
Hmm.
Um, we have a huge cornucopia of resources open to us.
So true.
And we have to trust our guts too. Like there's some of these channelers I see on YouTube that it's like, why is this 12th century warrior speaking with a fake British accent? It's like, that's kind of odd. So,
Yeah,
so you just go with your gut in a lot of
exactly. One last thing I want to bring your attention to is that in the chat, I did place a link to a piece that I wrote and created a video with it. And I actually, read this piece, and it's in two parts. The first part is just kind of showing what the lay of the land is right now, what humans are doing. And then the second part, which is longer and it has music behind it, is about, well, what are the options that we can do? What can we do? How can we create beauty on this planet? And why don't we? And I just like the piece myself, if I do say so. So I'm sharing it there. If you guys want to watch it later, copy the link.
Okay. And speaking of someone who creates beauty, we've got Renee.
Yes. Is she here?
Yeah.
Yeah, Renee.
You got You're muted, Renee.
Okay, here I am. Yes. Everything changes in the blink of an eye in life. And wow, when I think about all the different doorways that I explore and read about and enter and leave, I'm reminded when I was in my 20s and I joined a 12-step program for families of alcoholism. And one of the sayings or slogans, as they called them, was take what you liked and leave the rest. And that's a really simple way to sort of present it. But I always hold these little thoughts in my mind, like decades later, because they're so simple and there's such a good formula to remind me how simple it really can be. So, it means that I'm open to listening to all different kinds of options, opportunities, and some of it might resonate and some of it might not. Some of it I may not understand a word of. And I can honestly tell you that since I've joined the group and we, explore Solomon Speaks every week, the very beginning of those gatherings, those talks, I didn't understand a bloody word that anybody was talking about because everything was dissected and reduced into such minutiae for my little wee brain to be able to sort of integrate and process it all. I would leave at the end of the meeting and I would think, what were they talking about? I didn't really get a whole lot from that. I was grateful to be a part of a community, and that was the beginning of opening the door. But I really didn't understand sort of the larger scope of what was entailed, every discussion that was had. So I kind of would scratch my head and try and reread it afterwards and think, okay, well, whatever you received, that's what you were able to receive at that moment in time. That's what you were open to receive at that moment in time. That's what you were ready to hear. And don't worry about the rest because you're probably not able to take it in because you're not there yet. And back to my theory of how life works and my life and how I see life as this giant jigsaw puzzle, you get the information, it is revealed to you, it is handed to you at the divinely appointed moment when you are ready to receive it and not a moment before. So look up there and think, okay, they know whatever they might entail or whoever they might be. They know much better than I will ever understand and know what the program is, what the plan is. And if they say, okay, Renee, you're going to have a solo art show that next month, I say, I am, to myself, thinking, oh my God, they picked me. Wow, how did that happen? Gee, I don't know, must be a reason for it. I guess I better go out and look for frames or I guess I better figure out how to organize an art show because I've never had one before. And I just share that as an example because it feels kind of an overwhelming assignment for me right now, but I would not have been given the gift had I not been ready to receive it. And I will grow into the opportunity as I go along and trip and fall and make choices and take actions and steps toward. So anyway, that's really all I have to say at this moment, is that it doesn't matter if I understand all of it. The fact that I'm open-minded enough to listen, to open the door. I went to Santa Fe, New Mexico in 2009 or 8 to the Science and Consciousness Conference. In fact, I can't remember their names now. Oh, anyway, it doesn't really matter that I can't, but there were people there that were like on a level of beyond anything I could comprehend. But so what? The presence and the energy of the people there was life-changing in other ways. And I don't know how I'm supposed to be changed, but I'm not always the easiest person to reach because I am a very sort of insular kind of person. And I don't sort of open myself out to a lot of people and different experiences, but I do listen. I listen intently. And that gift to me is the ability to just draw in all of this wisdom and all of this guidance and all these possibilities that I can't think of myself. So just to open my mind up is an amazing opportunity wherever and however. Could be the person sitting next to me on the bus. They could have some amazing insight to share about something. But if I'm sitting there with my nose stuck against a cell phone, I'm not going to be very open to having a conversation with them. But some days I do have conversations with people that might look not like people that I might choose to have conversations with, but that's my judgment. So that's all I have to share for now. And it's all about willing to be willing. That's how I like to call it. Just a step at a time. You might be a little suspicious, or you might be a little skeptical, or you might not trust, but it doesn't matter. Just you'll know when to put the boundaries up and when to sort of, maintain that distance, or sense whether people are, trying to scoop you up into a cult or something, or
Right. Trust yourself.
Yeah.
Trust your inner knowingness. Yeah. Yes, Chelsea.
I can comment with the tagline, trust yourself. And I just wanted to put my 2 cents in that when I hear you talk about and kind of explaining it, Mary, and that there's entities out there that want to help us fix and correct where we're off track, I kind of see a spider web, like we're here and then, information is coming in. And I feel like that can be, my knowingness is kind of saying that isn't just that spider web is not just a one whole universe thing, that there's probably maybe other versions of Earth where maybe, for example, everything is way too perfect and entities are coming in to try to mix things up. But I feel I've been reading a little bit of this book, The School for Gods. I don't know if I've ever really got to the end of it, but like there's this highlighted quote. It says, whatever happens outside yourself has had to have had inner approval to manifest. And I feel like everything that's going on in Earth right now that all our faces are part of, we've kind of had our hand in manifesting for some reason, for our own knowledge or growth, but it doesn't mean that it's necessarily even really true.
Right.
I guess I'm just trying to kind of say, like the direct path that we are whole.
Yeah.
And
I have faith that we all came to this place knowing what we signed up for here on earth. Cecilia, you had your hand up.
Hi, yes, I agree. We know what we signed up for, and we chose to forget so we could engage in this journey, and we are always receiving whatever's appropriate and at the right time, exactly like you said, Renee. And I know we've gone through the book Solomon Speaks now 3 times, moving into more, and each time we're reading it, I think, oh, I'm going to remember that story I shared last time in this chapter, and the chapter goes by, it's like, oh, that story never even came up for me. I was in a whole different place and new things were showing up. And I'm just, you're a different person every time you reread or re-experience that book or that knowing, that saying or whatever. You're a new person, so new things are showing up, as it should be. And I agree, you need to mix it up. I mean, too perfect is fun for a while, and then it's like, I need to grow. So you need to mix it up and you need to grow. And so I know I have followed lots of different channels. I didn't realize I was doing that, but I was drawn to hear, I studied Conversations with God. We found a book club, and we sat and we read through each of the books every week, and it was just fabulous. I loved it. And then through that came Abraham Hicks, and I just adored Abraham Hicks. And just recently, I've been finding Bashar popping up on my feeds, and I'm loving Bashar. Oh my God, I'm just loving, loving, loving. And of course, Solomon. Solomon is fabulous, but you're going to hear the information that you're meant to hear when you're meant to hear it, and you're going to be drawn to those people who are speaking the vibration that you're ready to hear, ready to receive. So I'm happy to go take a look at this Asil person, because I'd like to see what you're receiving. But I'm loving Bashar right now. He's just so much fun, and I know he's been around for 40 years. And I've heard his name throughout the years, but I've never been drawn to listen to him. And then all of a sudden, he pops up on my feed one day, and now I just can't get enough of him. He's great.
Now is the time.
Now is the time.
Barb.
This has been a great conversation, and it's like the saying, when you're ready the teacher will appear, or something like that, Cecilia. And Chelsea, when I heard you talk, I loved that concept that you were presenting, and it took me back to Solomon Speaks chapter 5, and it's one of my favorite quotes, and I probably mentioned it a few times, but it's the universal truth in every moment. And there are millions of versions of that universal truth that happen every moment. And I think of that comment so often throughout the day. And it just brings to what you were both talking about, Cecilia and Chelsea and Mary. I mean, there's so many options and possibilities, and just the potential is endless and infinite. And I just love that we're all kind of playing with that and being a part of it. So.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. I'm going to put.
I immediately felt
I mean, in the chat, I'm going to put an interview with Asil that he did on Bat Gap, Buddha at the Gas Pump, which is a weekly show where they interview people who are following a spiritual path. And it's probably the best way to get to know about this, because it's in regular English and you don't have to translate from the entities who sometimes have a little syntax problem because they're not used to speaking English. Although they do a pretty good job. So if you'd like to do that, that would be great. It's 11:30, at least here in Oregon. So it's time to go, but this was such fun. I love hearing all of you, and I wish Louis Therese could talk, but we'll get her another week. And you all have a lovely, lovely day. I know I'm going to. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.